With the release of Super Digimon, Digimon Rearise starts a new era. The era of bypassing everything and cancelling evasion and one-shotting stuff and just complete and utter bullshit releases of upcoming Digimon. And now you, the new player, are going to face that. But since you are new, you don't know anything. So that is what this video is about. Gentlemen and cookies, welcome to how to play Digimon Rearise. So today's video is going to be about how to play the game and focusing on how to actually stay alive and not rage quit because of the chat. But before we begin, I would like to say that I would only recommend the sources that are provided in this video, and there are other sources that I don't recommend anyone to go to them at all because I've been there and the community there just isn't good. I'll be providing more detail about the subject later in a video talking about the Realize community because the subject is honestly too long for this video, and I of course don't want to change the topic of this video. So let us get back to the topic, which is how to play the game and stuff. So yeah, and if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below and I will answer them. So without a further thing to say, let us start. When you boot up the game for the first time and go through the tutorial and everything, you have to farm some rubies. Now, rubies are the main currency of the game. It's what lets you expand your plugin storage or refill in PvP or summon on banners and the works. Now, to get rubies, there are several sources for them, but before I tell you those sources, you need to know that if you're gonna choose your playstyle, be wise with it and be wise with your ruby spending of all things, because once those sources run out, you will only have PvP, which is a cruel place that will force you to play the game for a lot. So yeah, and you also need to focus on it in order to get a decent amount of rubies, or you could just fail, which is an option. But again, be wise with your spending, otherwise you'll end up spending a lot of money for some pixels. Now, the Ruby sources I was talking about are the story, the side story, the Clash search, the Underworld Abyss. Sorry, I'm too used to say Underworld Dungeon, but yes, it is there. And by the way, the Underworld Abyss can't be played again once you have finished it. So yeah, the Ruby Vortex, which comes with every new version update of the game, and not downloads like when you update it in the Google Play Store or the Go app or stuff like that. So yeah, that's when you get the Ruby Vortex, the SDQ or Spotlight Digimon Quest, the BCE, the Battle Challenge event. Both of these don't come a lot, but when they do give you a good amount of rubies. You also got the daily slash total missions, the monthly challenges, the special challenges like the SDQ challenges and other new ones, which most of them are exclusive to global only for some odd reason. You also got the Raging Raid Battle and finally PvP. Now there are other Ruby sources, but they are pretty rare, and they pretty much involve Bandai's moods. So yeah, you got one which is getting them from Bandai directly, whether it's from a bug or the celebration, sorry, or a maintenance happening. Bandai will give all of the players in the game a certain amount of rubies, but it's usually 10 to 20. So yeah, except when it comes to a maintenance, they actually give a lot more than that, but it depends on the amount of time the maintenance is up for, or maybe if the maintenance get extended or something like that. So yeah. The other source, which is two events, Bandai sometimes holds events on Facebook for the global version and on Twitter for the Japan version. The events are pretty much identical with the same amount of prizes and everything. The only difference is it's on a different platform. That's all. Now, I do believe there should be a new Ruby event and an Emblem event coming soon, but I don't know when because, first of all, we finished them in the Japan version not too long ago, and those events are pretty rare. So yeah, and of course the events are different when they come in global and in global version. So yeah, that depends on the time, not the actual event itself. So yeah, but when these events do come, they literally give you a full week of payment, or at least a half week, depending on Bandai's mood again. Now that we are done with how to get the rubies, you should know how to spend them. But before I continue on with the segment, you should know that all of this depends on luck. So if you don't get what you are trying to pull for, it's not my fault. And you should also know that you are free to pull for whatever you want if you are going to be playing casually or trying to get your favorites only, which is a playstyle. So yeah, you are free to do that. Or if you are going to be playing competitively, then you should be really wise with your summons. And you should be expecting to ask a lot of people questions. So yeah, be sure to be ready for that. Now, the things you should spend your rubies on are plugin storage, PvP, the ruby shop, the Digimon summons, and the plugin summons. That's all what you need to spend your rubies on. Don't spend them if you lost in a stage, or if you didn't defeat the clash, or to get stamina, or to go higher in PvP, unless you are in Master League. So yeah, which we will talk about later on in the video. Now we will start to talk about all of these places one by one, starting with the plugin storage. So yeah, now for the plugin storage, if you want to increase its space, you gotta prioritize your plugins first. Like of course you got 5 varieties of plugins. You got bronze, silver, gold, rainbow, ancient, and then super, or whatever you call it. But before we talk about plugins, let me just note out that we will get to the plugin summons part later on in the video. So if you want to know when and how much you should spend on these banners, you will know later on. So yeah, don't worry, I got you covered, bro. So let us start with the plugin management. We will first start with the bronze plugins. For the bronze plugins, keep only the crit and the block ones. Remove the rest. For the silver, do the exact same thing as the bronze, except if you are low on plugins. If you have 400 or more, then go ahead and remove them. Of course, except for the crit and the block ones. Do not remove these. Now for the gold plugins, don't remove any of them except for the effect ones, of course excluding crit and block. If you again don't have a lot of plugins, do not remove them. Keep them because they do provide an extra boost for your Digimon, which is always nice to have. For the effect ones, I mean like sleep resistance, pinpoint, stuff like that. So yeah, of course, except for crit and block, do not remove these. For the rainbow plugins, same thing goes for the gold ones, like do the same thing. Except for Digimon specific plugins, it's your decision whether you want to keep them or not. And of course, if you have the Digimon, then keep them if you want to. If you don't have the Digimon, then why bother? Like honestly, unless you know and you are completely confident you are gonna get that Digimon, then I guess keep them. Like that's just my personal opinion. Now for the super plugins or new rainbow plugins, whatever you call them, there are only 2 variants which I'm aware of. You got the ones from the Master League, which you should absolutely keep. Do not get into the sell plugins or even get into the upgrade plugins and even get within the same row of these plugins. Do not do that. Like, I'm actually warning you. I have a gun right next to me. So yeah, I will end you. So for the Digimon specific ones, you should also keep if you have that Digimon, which I assume you do because these are only available through a training set and a PvP shop. So yeah, I don't really know why you would waste your rubies or even PvP coins on them, but yeah, that's just my assumption. Now, all what I stated is just basic knowledge, but what you don't know is that the plugin banners also do have one-step plugins, which is like power only, no power plus speed or power plus crit, which is not good at all. Like they are actually trash. So you should remove them even if they are rainbow plugins. So yeah, but with the exception of if you are new and do not have a lot of plugins. If that is your case, then keep all of the plugins you have and do not remove any of them at all until you can pull again. Now let us talk about PvP. You only need to spend rubies when you're really near from a new top, or if you're in Master League. So if you're in Master League, you need to spend rubies there and decide which top you want to stay in, and keep on staying in that top, or like top 10, top 50, top 100, stuff like that, until you can't play Master League anymore. So basically, you keep on going for that top every time you find yourself out of it, and keep on doing that until the week is done. And small tip here: when you get to that top, you wanna stay in. Push a bit more so that it gives the other people a harder time to catch up to you. And it's not like a lot of places, like maybe push a few more, like maybe 5 or 10 places, stuff like that. So yeah, I know by saying that I'm making it actually harder for me to push even more in Master League. That is when I do get back in there. So but it does make it fun. Like, it does actually make some people get better in the game, which is nice to see. Now for the Ruby shop, we have three stuff that four stuff that you should buy. So let us go through them all, starting with the training sets. With each Digimon coming, they get a training set which has 5 of their special code, or in case the Digimon doesn't have a special code, you get 5 of the Super DGV instead. 3 of their and also you get 3 of their personality skill stone, all of the workout materials for them, 2 proteins, and 1 attack and defense target plugins for them, which is really a great deal for 200 rupees only. But again, don't buy these like it's a shopping spree on a Black Friday. Buy them only if you have the Digimon that they are for. So yeah. Emblem packages. Only buy these if you are really short on emblems and aren't getting lucky in Underworld Dungeon at all. And this is an optional condition, by the way. If you want to super awaken your favorite Digimon, and also if you have a few rubies to spare and there aren't any important banners coming. So Digimon specific DGV codes. Only do this if the Digimon you want to super awaken is your favorite Digimon, or if you have some spare rubies and want to super awaken a Digimon fast. It's not that recommended, but it's not that stupid to do either in some cases. Plugin Vortex key. Now, yeah, it's a bit surprising, and yeah, it's only for 10 rubies only, and you may be asking, why am I recommending this? Well, it's honestly the cheapest and most useful option for the challenge that you get each half month. So yeah, that challenge basically requires you to buy something from the Ruby shop, and of course, if you don't have any training set to buy, then the plugin Vortex key is the best option you got, because yeah, it's a plugin Vortex key. Like, why wouldn't you want to buy this for a challenge and to also level up your plugins? Why would you buy an elemental DGV code that you will absolutely get for free from any clash? It's a scam, honestly. If you have been playing for at least a month or more, then your selection of summons is a bit limited, because you already got what you need and already rerolled and all that stuff. But if you are a new player or a 1 month player who still doesn't know what he should do yet, then I would suggest you pull on Digimon that are good. Now, how do you know if a Digimon is good or not? Well, I would suggest for this video that you go and ask in the Discord server, the main Discord server of the game, which has an invite link to in the description. That Discord is basically the main source of the game. It's where the data mines are from, and it's basically where there are the bot which has all of the data of the Digimon that are currently in the game. So yeah, you can basically search for any Digimon you want in there. So yeah. And there are also help channels in there which can help you out a lot with people who do know what they are talking about, and with a mutable offense if someone is found there trolling. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend going to any other Discord places or even Facebook or Reddit, because I've been there and I've seen some stupid stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't like you to go there at all. And I would also like to clarify that I'm not giving any advice on how to know if a Digimon is good or not, because the explanation of that is really long. So yeah, this is a topic for a different video. Now for plugin summons, I would only recommend to summon on the plugin festival banner, because it has a pretty good selection of plugins, and including ones you will need in PvP and others that you will need in Underworld Dungeon. I would also recommend to summon on this banner only if you have a few rubies to spare and if there are no important banners coming up. I would also recommend you don't spend a lot, like maximum should be 200 or 400, since you still need prioritize getting good Digimon. So yeah. Now that we are done with the most important segment of the game, let us talk about other segments, which you should also take note of. First one is PvP. Now, yes, I will be talking about PvP again, but not the ruby spinning part. I will be talking about like how you should play it, when you should play it, and stuff like that, and how I mean like what you should do to like get the most amount of rubies possible. So yeah, let us start with that. Now, PP is the part of the game that can be a bit cruel and can also be a bit relaxing. The cruel part is if you want the highest amount of rubies possible without having to spend too much time playing, then I would suggest staying in normally and playing at least every 2 hours and 30 minutes. Now, personally, for me, I sleep at 12 a.m. and wake up at 7 and play every 2 hours and 30 minutes. But because of my shift, I became lazy and play whenever I can play, which still got me a decent amount. But if you want the best option, then I would suggest for you is the play style that you are okay with. I wouldn't suggest you go to the Master League at all, because it's a really hard place, even for people who have been playing for like quite some time. You need really strong Digimon, and you need excellent plugins and a well-made team that has synergy in it, which we will go through later on in the video. So, yeah. And you also need at least 200 rubies for each week, depending on what top you are aiming for. And one small suggestion: if you can't remember to open the game every 2 hours and 30 minutes like me to play PvP, then set up a repeating timer. You can find a lot of these on Google Play, or you can do it on your phone. But in case your phone can do that, then Google Play is your friend. Now, next up, we'll be talking about Clash. Now, Clash is a part that isn't really as important as PvP, but it has its role of giving you stuff that can be useful, like DGV, Elemental, DGV, and stuff like that. And for DGV, you absolutely need it. So, yeah, Clash is useful in its own way. So, yeah, therefore, you should at least give it an eye for now. The Digimon for Clash are a completely different story from the Digimon you need in PvP. You need Digimon who debuff the enemy, like maybe lower its defense, lower its power resistance / tech resistance, and stuff like that. Or even Digimon that remove the turns, like the turns of its buffs. So yeah, you need Digimon who deal a very high amount of damage, which are usually Digimon who attack only 1 or 2 Digimon, like Omega Sharpman, Jesmon X, War Raymond X, stuff like that. So yeah, you need debuffers like Digimon who again debuff the enemy's turns and stuff like that. You need attack buffers, Digimon who boost the attack of your team. You also need patience, because this won't be done first try. You also need to get used to your team and all of that stuff. Now let us go to the Underworld Dungeon part. Now this is the hardest part of the game, because now with the addition of 25 floors, which were added like last month or something, you can't fully auto Underworld Dungeon just yet. You have to play the last 5 floors manually. You need to focus on survivability, how to make your team good, how to make it survive, where to find the good plugins to use there. You need Digimon to awaken them if you need. You need to give them good plugins. You also need to be aware of their cost and all of that. Now, the last part of the video is the team synergy. So, yeah, we will talk about team synergy in PvP and in Clash.
So let us start with the team synergy in PvP. Now team synergy is something along the lines of the whole team supports each other. So for example, I'll use my recent team in here that I made to squeeze some fun out of this game. So let us get on with it. Triceramon tanks for the whole entire team with his main skill, which reduces 50% of the damage that is coming to it. I also gave him block, which does increase his tankiness. Bancho Lilymon is there to remove stuff like Fade, making Ulfer's Vidramon X teams really easy to play against since Tricera has Fade immunity, so even if Ulfer's X hits Tricera, he wouldn't get Fade at all. And I can proceed and use Bancho Lilymon's sub to remove the Fade or Error or any other dot, which is basically burn, error, and poison, off of my team, and to add extra tankiness with the 40% power and tech resistance from the passive to the whole entire team. Omegamon X is there to make it easier to land hits without evade getting in my way. And also he is there in case the War Greymon X and the Super War Greymon use their skills using his sub as a last shot on the enemy, which does work. War Greymon X is there to basically nuke the enemy, which he still does to this day, and he does an extremely good job at it. And he's also there because he has his cooldown reduction, which helps out a lot with making him attack fast. And he's also there because, of course, he is my favorite Digimon. Super War Greymon is there to support the team with his power buff from the passive and to also nuke the enemy and to also debuff the enemy's power resistance, making it super easy to nuke even a normal hit from the Super War Greymon does quite some damage. Now, this is what team synergy is. You either support one or two, preferably two, Digimon who are the main purpose of your team, or make a team that supports each of its members and have several backup plans in case this or that happens. Using my team again as an example, here in my case, Super War Greymon dies, I got Omegamon X and War Greymon X to depend on. You also gotta take note of your team's weaknesses and be sure to not end up in a situation where you can do anything. Like again, my team's weakness is Digimon who hit too hard for Tricera and Triceramon and end him really fast, or teams that are faster than me and end up destroying a Digimon, or even at least three of my Digimon. Like there are teams with Longmon that are really fast in Master League, so yeah, you really gotta study your team and try to not have too many weaknesses. Now we got team synergy in Clash. Now Clash is completely a different story from PvP. Clash needs attention and focus because you will be trying a lot if you want max damage or if you at least want to win. You need to get used to your team, so I'll be using my Clash team here for example. Now we got War Greymon X in here, and he is there because I don't have just one X, but he still does an okay job with the nuking, so he isn't that horrible. We got Bancho Liamon. He is there because his sub gives a minus 60% defense to the enemy, and I can also use his main to remove any limiters or stuff like that from the enemy, which is nice and does help out my team deal a lot of damage. Now Omega Shoutmon is there because he nukes really hard, and his sub does remove the enemy's buffs, which helps out a lot, and he also gives a cooldown reduction by 75% for one time, and he also provides limiters through his passive, which helps with the survivability. Omegamon X is there to help remove the buffs without wasting the cooldown reduction on the Omega Shoutmon or the Super War Greymon, and his sub also helps with removing the evades. Now let us start with Super War Raymond. He is there to basically be the nuke and support for the Digimon. He provides a minus 60% power resistance from the passive to the enemy, and he also has a 70% power boost from the passive to the team. His X skill also gives a 90% power boost, but the power boost from the passive and the X skill don't stack. Only the X skill's power boost will be used when the X skill is used. And he can also remove the enemy's buffs, which is great and helps other Digimon hit hard. Now this is an example of team synergy in Clash. Now, granted, it's not the best, but it is also not the absolute worst. From only a few tries and not total 100% focus or care, I got like 14 million damage on Phoenixmon's level 20 Clash, which is not the best because there are people who got 20 million, but it is also not the worst. Now, I'll not be talking about Team Synergy for Underworld Dungeon because that place needs Digimon which aren't available at the moment, and you absolutely need those to survive. And you also need like the plugins that are really, really good and maxed out, and like you need a lot of patience, a lot of stamina, and stuff like that. So, I can't really talk about it without sounding like this video isn't actually for new noobs or new people who just started the game. So yeah, for the synergies for PP and Clash, these were examples. They are not actual Digimon that you need to get absolutely, or else you will lose and you will rage quit. No, these were examples. So yeah, I'll be talking about Underworld Dungeon in a different video. So yeah, be sure to stay tuned for that. And with that, we reach the end of this video. Again, if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below, and hopefully you learned something from this video. And good luck with the game, and hey, if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe, like the video, and hit those bells so that you don't miss any video. And yeah, I'll see you all later. Peace out.